the 4.1 represents probably almost 10 years of stuff that I've been working on that I didn't want to change in the SRC because once you started changing stuff, then you're going to have to change other stuff. It's like if you had a house and the furniture in it was like from the 70s, and then you bought like a 75-inch flat panel TV. All of a sudden, it kind of makes your living room look outdated, and then you got to buy new furniture, and then you got to tear up the carpet, and you got to put down new tile. It's a whole thing. Like so, once you start making something new and different, then you have to replace everything. And so I really, really didn't want to take that undertaking on, until I was ready, because one, it took quite a while to get the science of all of this stuff down to where it works the way that it does, and then be able to test it out and give it the time that I wanted to, experiment with. And so as far as looks and interface goes, I try not to change looks and interface because I don't like it when Windows does that to me and they make the start button in the middle of the page or something. And then before you know it, like they have some AI bot like writing emails for me to people I don't even know. And so all this kind of stuff, I'm not into that. I want to give you the best possible experience. And so where we do have some upgrade features or update features to the interface that will be coming out a little later. It's not going to be anything grandiose. It'll make it look a little bit more modern, and I'm going to try to not move any buttons around. If it is, it'd be very minimal. Yeah, and I'll make a video. It'll only be because it's better that way. And so what I'm going to go over today is basically how the new engines work for the SRC and what kind of changes that we've seen in the world of cocktail, not only development but deployment. And so the the SRC engines, are like, as far as I'm concerned, the best in the world. They're like the smoothest, the safest, the most encompassing. It's like basically a giant energetic hug that just kind of melts the stress away, and then all of a sudden you feel better. And so you don't have like a healing crisis, or weird stuff like that happening because it's so premier. And so we don't want to lose that by trying to get more power. If anything, we want to even make it even more smooth. And so that's been the challenge, is to outdo what I did without losing anything that we already had developed. And this stuff is extremely complicated. And I built the intuitive discernment engine back in 2010, and we have tooled it up, pretty much every year since then. But these major updates to the engine, its performance, and everything, as far as I was concerned, the SRC is the greatest like quantum frequency technology on the planet. It's simple, easy to use. You can run 100 people, individually. Like it's like a quantum clinic, like right in your pocket. So, well, maybe not in your pocket, maybe on your laptop. But we're working on that part too. But the SRC truly is like so large and massive that it won't, it really won't fit on a platform other than Windows just yet. And I'm not writing it for Apple because that's just, would be really, really difficult. So, but eventually we may have a version down the road of SRC that is cross-platform compatible. But that'll be, as Ralph used to say, that is future music. And so that's going to be stuff that we're working on. But the engine, which is the intuitive discernment engine, is a type of AI. We don't call it AI. We call it ID, intuitive discernment, because it works different than AI. It looks at different factors. It's nothing like the large language models that you see nowadays. So, I invented AI before AI was cool. And so to be able to update the model to make it work even better, there's not a lot of books or manuals or anything you can read. You kind of gotta wing it and measure everything. Gotta look at everything and figure out what's going on and make it happen for yourself. So I've been testing this new engine out for quite some time, and it is really marvelous. And the cocktails are one of the biggest marvel as well, because there's a new type of cocktail that the 4.1 engines will be able to work with on a particular kind of level. And so the current engine, which is what everybody has right now as I'm talking, is the 4.0 engine. That's the highest engine that's available. But very soon we will release a link to all the members, and you would basically just click on the link and you should be able to download the program and install it if you want to, or Kevin can help you however you want to do it, if you need assistance with that. But it's pretty straightforward if you know how to install a program, and it will basically update your version to the new engine and the new cocktail structure. So before, we used what was called a .src file for cocktails. And so the SRC is a marvel because it can read any kind of information except video. It can't read video, but it can read PDFs or documents, or even reports from other devices that you might have. And so it can read all that stuff, and it can computate that, and it can make a session, revolving around that information. And so, but these new engine components not only exist in the SRC, but they also exist inside the new cocktails. So it's a special way that the cocktail is talking to the SRC, and vice versa. It's a type of intelligence. And so that part, the current engines cannot support. So like you can imagine, this is a pretty big undertaking. So the file name, instead of being .src, for all the new cocktails that would require 4.1 or higher, will be called .elx, for like .elixir.